Hello and welcome to another tutorial from LydiaHawk.com. Today we are going to make a crochet rainbow foot bag. Foot bags were popular in the 90s. They were called hacky sacks, but hacky sack owns the copyright on the term hacky sack, hence foot bag. These are little balls you kicked around with your feet, but they're also really good for juggling. I send these to a friend in California and he loves them for juggling. If you like my videos, please subscribe and hit the bell for instant notifications. In order to make this foot bag, we are going to need a size H8 or 5mm crochet hook. We'll need a tapestry needle. We'll need a stitch marker. You can also use a piece of scrap thread. I really like Red Heart soft yarn. They have nice solid colors in green and red and orange, purple, blue, and yellow. We'll need scissors. I'm going to use a balloon for the center. You can make these without the balloon, but if your stitches aren't really tight, the more you squeeze them, the easier it is for the plastic poly pellets to come out. And I'm going to use a size H hook since I'm using the balloon. This one was made, I do believe, with a size G hook, so it's on the smaller side. With the size H hook and a balloon in the middle, we should be able to create a bag that is large and also sturdy and holds the plastic poly pellets in really well. I'm going to sew the top of the balloon with needle and thread. I'm using red and sewing needle, and then plastic poly pellets. And I've got a funnel here because that helps get them into that small top opening. As you can see, these are really small. All you have to do is Google plastic poly pellets. I'll put a couple of links in the description, but because these are so small, I do not recommend this foot bag for a baby or a toddler. If you want to make one for a baby or a toddler, I would use doll stuffing instead. They are really pretty. Babies and toddlers, they love balls, but don't give them this with the plastic poly pellets inside because you don't want them to eat them and choke on them. It's not a good idea. So to start, we're going to take our H hook and we're going to take red. I've got a little bit of red yarn left here. We're going to start with a slip knot. So take your thread. Usually you want a long tail for weaving in the ends, but with foot bags, you don't want a lot of excess yarn in the middle of your bag. So I'm going to leave a short tail. We'll take our yarn like this. We'll flip it with the longest part on top. Then go in through the center with our index finger and thumb and pull that top piece of thread through the middle, creating a slip knot. We're going to put that on our hook. And then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to create a ring by going into that first chain space and slip stitch. Pull your new yarn through the chain space and the yarn on your hook. I'm going to go ahead and put a stitch marker on this piece of yarn. And then I'm going to work round 1, and through this ring I'm going to single crochet 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now instead of finishing stitch 6, I'm going to go in, I'm going to start it. 1. Before I pull new thread through, I'm going to grab the next color, which is orange. And the reason I do this is because I find that it makes for a more seamless transition to pull the new yarn through the last stitch than to wait, complete the round, and then pull new yarn through. You're going to have a seam no matter what, but I find that it looks a lot better to do it this way. So I'm going to pull orange through. I'm going to leave a short tail because I don't want a lot of excess yarn inside the bag. So we pull this through to complete our 6th stitch. I'm going to remove the stitch marker now, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet space, chain 1, and place my marker. Now as we go, we'll clean up the ends and we'll tie knots into them so that they're nice and secure. So for instance, right here we've got 2 ends. If we want our foot bag to be sturdy, we're going to just very lightly double knot the ends. And we'll just keep doing this as we go because it'll guarantee that the foot bag won't fall apart as easily as it would if we didn't. When you're juggling and you're kicking it around, the stitches will probably loosen, but it'll still last a long time if you take the time to knot the ends. So now we're going to work an increase by single crocheting 2 into each stitch around, ending with 12 stitches. 1, 2, and go into the next single crochet and single crochet 2. That's 4. 11. I'm not going to completely work number 12. I'm going to start it and then I'm going to pull yellow through. Remove my stitch marker, slip stitch into that first single crochet space, chain 1, and place a new marker, and place the marker. Now if I want to keep doing what I was doing with the red and orange, I'll cut this piece of orange and then tie a double knot with the yellow and orange. Not too tight, but the first one not too tight. You don't want to mess with the shape of the stitches. You want them to remain their size naturally. The second one can be more snug. And you can start with longer ends, tie them, and then trim them. That one was a little hard to knot because I'd already cut it short. Now we're going to increase, but we're going to start with 1 single crochet, and then we're going to work 2 into the second. And now we're just going to repeat that. I'm not going to work it entirely. I'm going to wait. And I'm going to pull the next color through, which is green. I'm going to leave a little bit of a longer tail this time so it's easier to knot. Remove that stitch marker, slip stitch into the first single crochet space, chain one, place marker. Now we're going to continue to increase, but we're going to follow the established pattern, which is single crochet 2, 1, 2, and then 2 single crochet in 1. Giving us 4, and we're going to repeat that. 1, 2, and then 2 and 1. 1, 2. That's 8. I'm going to not finish the last one, and I'm going to pull blue through. And then remove the stitch marker, slip stitch, chain 1, place marker. Now I'll just go back and secure a couple of these. Cut yellow, tie it to the green, trim it. I'm going to cut the green and do the same with the blue. So we're going to increase again, and this time we're going to single crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochet in the next. 1, 2, making 5, 4, and before I finish, I'm going to pull purple through. Remove the stitch marker, slip stitch, chain 1, place marker. And then I'm going to tie these ends and just keep doing this as I go, because it's going to be easier and less confusing than if I wait and do it at the end. Now we have 30 stitches, which means that we can single crochet 30 all the way around for a couple of rows. Now I'm just going to go around with 30 stitches. Pull red through. And I almost forgot to not work that last stitch, so do that, pull orange through, okay, now we're going to work 30 stitches in orange. 1, 2, I'm going to wait and not work that one and pull yellow through. Okay, so we're going to work our decrease now, and we're going to do it in reverse. The last increase row was single crochet 3 and then 2 single crochet in the next stitch. So we're going to single crochet 3 and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. Go in the first one, don't finish it. And single crochet 2 together. And I'm not going to finish it. I'm going to leave 3 loops on my hook and pull the new color through. Very good. I'm going to continue to tie the ends as I go. This green is a little loose, so I'm going to pull it snug, cut the yellow, tie them together. A loose knot at first and then a sturdier one right after. We're going to work our next row as a decrease row, and instead of 3 we're going to single crochet 2, 1, 2, and then single crochet 2 together, 1, and then pull through 3 loops, 1, 2, 1, 2 together. And then before I finish the last one, we're going to work another decrease row, This time single crochet 1 and then single crochet 2 together. Before I even work the last stitch, I'm going to loosen that last piece of thread and go ahead and put the balloon in. I need to see how big and full I can get it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put some pellets in the balloon. Shake it a little bit. If I go ahead and put pellets in it, it'll probably be easier to fit in the bag. See how it's going to look. Put a little bit in, just a little, very, very small amount. And then go ahead and put it in my bag. Not quite enough in it, but I need to figure out how to incrementally get more pellets in and then sew the top or knot it. I guess technically we could just knot it, but I don't want there to be a really uncomfortable knot inside the bag. So I'm just going to put a few more in. Basically, I want it to be full. And that feels pretty good. So with the pellets in, basically right at the top I can fill, right on the inside I can fill the top of the layer of pellets. And at this point I'm going to want to go ahead and seal this bag and tuck it in. So I'm going to take a needle. I've already got a little bit of thread on this, so I'm just going to use this. It's a sage green color. Because I don't have to sew much. I just want to make sure that the bag doesn't open in the middle. So I'm just going to go back and forth across the bag, the width of it twice, and then I'm going to knot the end. You know, when you're juggling, you don't want an uncomfortable knot on your ball. You want it to feel pretty smooth. And foot bags too, I'm guessing. Just a comfortable, soft bag. But technically, I guess you could just knot the end. I'm going to cut my thread. If there's a better way to do this, feel free to comment below. I am winging this. I sent some foot bags for juggling purposes to a friend, and eventually the pellets started to leak out. So I'm doing this so that he has a bag that lasts longer. Okay, so now that I've knotted that, I'm going to trim the thread. and then I'm going to cut the top, and I'm going to lay it over on the inside. So I just don't want a knot. It's kind of like a knot, but it's not. And now I'm going to finish sewing up the top, or bottom if you will, of my bag. So to finish this decrease, I'm going to start a single crochet 2 together and then bring my purple through. I'm gonna have to tighten that blue. As you get to the closing of the bag, the stitches can be loose. You want to make sure they're not loose. Nice tight bag. And then I'm going to slip stitch and chain 1, and then tie these loose ends together. And now all I want to do is single crochet 2 together all the way around until I only have 6 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cut my thread, leaving a tail for weaving in the end. So we bound off, and now I just want to get the end of that weaved in to the bag. I'm just going to go around the outside and weave it into the purple thread, a couple of stitches at a time. So as you can see, just going around and finding thread to pull through. And once I've done that a few times, I'm going to cut it. And now I have a foot bag / juggling bag that doesn't have any uncomfortable knots in it. That's full of plastic poly pellets that are secure inside a balloon, and I can squeeze it to my heart's content and they are not going to come out. And there you have it. It is a crochet rainbow foot bag. A lot of fun for juggling, for kicking around. I'm going to make 2 more for a friend of mine. He's going to have a lot of fun juggling with these. Again, if you like my videos, please subscribe and hit the bell button for instant notifications. Also feel free to visit lydiahawk.com and shop for free patterns and patterns you can purchase, as well as finished product, necklaces, bracelets, etc. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me on my contact page. Thank you so much, and happy crocheting!